Okay, so welcome back to the channel. I'm the Winner Circle Trader, and it's time for another weekly analysis video. So this week, I feel like we have quite a clear market picture and bias, but there are some key factors I'd like you guys to consider. So let's jump right into the charts and see what I mean by that. On the weekly chart, what I see here is we swept some relative equal lows, we swept some more liquidity here, we reacted off of the last bullish fair value gap, and we displaced higher, creating a CISD above this intermediate term high, which I would say was confirmed on Friday by putting in this weekly breakaway gap. Now, there are some things to consider. So this is basically not, I'm not saying this is a long signal to just, long right here, although it could probably work, but that's not what I'm suggesting at all. So let's get into, by the way, on the monthly time frame, this is like the most bullish thing I've seen in my time trading. But basically, we kind of have this soup reaction to this monthly fair value gap, and put in this V-shape kind of a momentum reversal here. I would be very surprised to see the monthly close anywhere below this. I would like to just see it kind of keep going up at this point. Now the reasoning behind why we saw some, bearish movement last week is because we're currently reacting quite healthily actually to, the last bearish fair value gap in the leg. Now the reaction is nothing, it doesn't even come close to the displacement we saw, down here. It's just a very minute reaction to a weekly fair value gap that should act as a speed bump on our way to the buy side here. So it's completely normal. On the daily time frame, we are reacting quite bullishly to this daily, fair value gap, which I would actually include this VI for within it, and the C of this gap. So it's not going to be here. It's actually going to be here, and even if we close down here, I wouldn't like down here. I would not say we've disrespected the gap. We would have to see a candle closure here for me to be bearish all of a sudden, On the 4-hour time frame, actually, let's go on the 1-hour time frame to make it clearer. What I see here is an obvious intermediate term low. We came very close to reaching it. We didn't quite sweep it yet. And then we had this reaction up. And although that seems kind of bullish, which, I was bullish if we swept that low, it's not quite bullish. Actually, it's quite bearish, because if you draw out a Fibonacci retracement tool here, it's reacting perfectly to the OTE 0.705 level, and we're seeing it kind of react bearish and keep going lower since then, right? So I wouldn't actually be surprised if market opens like literally below the low, especially since if you're a fundamental trader, the United States didn't really seem to want to make a deal in terms of tariffs with the European Union. So that's kind of bearish news. Of course, the news follows market structure, so I'm not really concerned about the news too much. But yeah, I would say I'm bearish until this. However, like I said, on the weekly and the monthly time frames, obviously I'm bullish. Obviously, I want all-time highs. Obviously, I want buy side. But I won't be looking for any long positions unless we sweep this low. If it blasts up anyways, I mean, great. I'm right about the bias, but I probably wouldn't be, joining the momentum um, unless perhaps we just blast up here, close above here, get a retracement, and see some reaction here. Anyways, I'm not really going to be trading Monday, I think. Not on my fundids, not on my personal. maybe on some evals. I'm not sure yet. Why? Because it is a bank holiday. It's a half day. So volume is not really going to be there, which means I've already mentioned this in my Discord, but this means that, there's not going to be enough volume to ensure that price does what we want it to do, which is, move very fast to our TPs. And if there's not enough volume for it to go there, it's going to chop around. And even if you're right, it might stop you out before it gets to your targets. So I try to avoid no news Mondays, especially if it's a bank holiday as well. I mean, it's just like, bro, you if you trade your personal accounts or your funded accounts tomorrow, you're gambling, bro. Um, so yeah, just don't do that. If you have an eval, just half the risk, trade it. It's fine. But yeah. Anyways, I think that's it for this week. We're bullish. We have a CISD. We have a breakaway gap. Monthly time frame, we have a V-shaped recovery. We even have an inverse fair value gap here. Very obvious A plus setup. The monthly candle has not closed yet, so I'm not gonna say that that is a setup on a monthly time frame yet, but looks like it will be. On the daily time frame, again, we're quite bullish. 4 hour time frame, we left some relative equal highs here. So I think that should speed. Basically, once we're up here, we should just beat above it to all-time highs, I feel like. And yeah, we're seeing some very healthy retracement from a weekly fair value gap here after sweeping some intermediate term high here. That was quite obvious as well. So yeah, everything looks good. And obviously, the only valid trading days to this week would be, Thursday and Friday. But if you are very confident about the bias, which I'm starting to be, I mean, you could look for longs once we retrace below here and we see some market structure shift. If you're a higher time frame trader, I mean, it looks like an obvious thing to do. So that's all I'll say. Anyways, good luck this week. That'll be it for me for the analysis. And of course, if you find this helpful at all in any way, subscribe, like. It's gonna help my channel a lot because it's very new. And yeah, man, good luck.